Hey gang, Ronan here. As you can see in this game, I am playing the Tier 9 Russian destroyer Udaloi. Now what can I tell you about the Udaloi? Well, it's a very fun ship to play. If you're not familiar with the line, haven't played it, and you're thinking about destroyers, it's, I think, a really great line to start with because it focuses primarily on the guns. And at least in my opinion, as the game has aged and we've seen a proliferation of long-range hydro and a lot more ships with radar, including more and more DDs, the CV rework, which brought CVs to a lot more games than used to be the case. Guns are, well, more consistent for sure, but they always were, but I think that's even more true these days. What can I tell you about the Udaloi? Well, the Udaloi guns, they are 130s, and let me get the particulars on those for you. I'm going to get from the World of Warships wiki. I'll just kind of give you the breakdown. Udaloi is the most advanced Soviet destroyer among those designed before 1941, Project 35. It's large in size and could run at a very high speed for this type of ship. In terms of power over main guns, she outclassed most of her foreign counterparts. And that really is still true. I mean, there are some high-tier destroyers now that, Smolen comes to mind, Ragnar comes to mind. There are a few others. You got Berugamo and Kitakaza. But the guns on the Udaloi are phenomenal. They really are great guns, and you'll get to see them in action here a fair amount in this game. Now, the two hulls. Well, the B hull, of course, everybody wants to get as much HP as possible, and the base HP is 18,800. Now you can see I'm running at 21,950. Plainly, I took the commander skill to give myself a little more HP. Really, really recommend that. Torpedoes. Well, the ship does have torpedoes, and if you get the upgraded torpedoes, they're really not that bad. I mean, they've got a 10-kilometer range, which you can see there on the minimap, and they do a base damage of 15,100 minus whatever torpedo belt mitigation there might be there, and they run at 60 knots. So what am I doing here? Well, I want to get close, but I don't think I really want to go in the cap at this point. We've got Missouri, which has radar. I don't want to get detected and blapped early. I want to try and conserve some HP while putting myself in position to be able to use these HE shells, which can be really, really effective. And I run right into Asashio. Now, his torpedoes can't hurt me at all. So I don't really have to worry about those. I'm going to go ahead and smoke up because I don't want to start eating a bunch of damage. Hate to burn a smoke so early, but I think that's probably my best bet. And I'm just going to focus on the other side here a little bit, because I've got aircraft coming in, and I want to make sure he's not trying to strike me. Now, it looks like he's going to go up to the Marlborough. So I don't have to worry about a torpedo threat from the Asashio, but I want to get behind this rock because I'm expecting Missouri's radar here anytime. And if Asashio went wide and is making use of that smoke, once Missouri does use the radar, I could be taking fire from the Asashio. Now, this is the first in a series of 3 Udaloi decision-making videos. And you'll see that I have a pretty good game. All 3 I had a pretty good game. But there are certain points during the game that I really invite you to offer your opinion about decisions that were made. I decided here to back into the cap. Now, the Asashio outspots me like crazy. So if he came around this side, he's going to be able to see me. What's the Asashio? 5.4 if he's kitted out properly. And I'm at 7.2. So plainly it has a big spotting advantage. So what I'm wondering right now is just how far up is the Missouri going to push? And is he going to push up so far that I'm going to be able to get him with torpedoes? So I'm just going to pause right here. Plainly, I've decided to move forward, right? You can see that I've got aircraft out there, and I've got the Asashio, Missouri, and Iowa all right there. They're kind of in a straight line, more or less. What should I do? What would you do? My decision is going to be self-evident here in just a second. I've got the cap more than halfway flipped. I'm taking a look at the mini map. I see the bad guys already have Bravo. They're contesting Charlie. Should I sit here and try and secure this cap or move out? And if I do move out, what should I do? Where should I throw torpedoes versus where I put the guns? Now, why am I asking you these questions? Because I really want you to think about it. Now, if you are watching this and you just want to see some gameplay that's exciting, well, I think this is, but it's also kind of a primer for maybe stretching our mind, including mine, with regards to destroyer play, in particular the Russian destroyer play, because they are focused more on guns, but I have a real opportunity with torpedo here. So I wanted to make sure I asked, what would you do? Now let's just go ahead and move forward, and and we'll see. You'll see exactly what I did. Asashi was outside of my detection range, but the Lexington aircraft have got me detected. And these things only move, what did I say, 60 knots? So what am I doing here? Well, I want to see what the Missouri is doing. And why did I wait? Well, I waited because I wanted to see if he was going to turn. Very often, a battleship player will expect you to throw your torpedoes out the second you can. And then they turn accordingly. So I waited, fully visible, to see where he was going to turn before I threw the torpedoes out. And it really paid off. So I was able to finish off the Missouri. So that gets rid of the radar threat. Still visible. I'm going to try and get behind this island and hope that that cruiser is not aiming at me. Okay, so another pause. What would you do here? Would you go for the cap? Would you try to get outside? Try to maintain vision for your team? These are all things that run through my mind. Okay, we'll just head forward and I'll show you what I did, and then I can explain why. So that cruiser can't be seen right now. And what do I think he's doing? Well, I think he's probably running away. That's what I think. He does not want to square off with the Massachusetts at close range. And he's backed up by Lepanto, right? The Massachusetts, I mean. So I'm going to use all the speed I can to get up here and get eyes on whatever's here. And he is running. Now, could I open up here? Yeah, should I? I don't think so. What do you think? I think I have an opportunity to secure the cap here. Iowa's way back. Masashio's torpedoes can't hurt me. Now, Asashio's going to try really hard to get torpedoes on our Massachusetts. And I'm going to try really hard to make him sorry that he tried to do that. But Massachusetts didn't need my help. His secondaries did the job. Now, Spike Proteins, he did manage to finish up our Massachusetts, and we also lost to Neptune. So each team now is down 4 ships, but the bad guys are down 3 destroyers. They've got 1 left. We have 4 destroyers left in the game. And with the Asashio gone, well, I'm going to be able to sit here, get this cap secured, and try to get some fire started. And you can see that they've got a lot of range on this thing. I don't want to get blind fired, but I don't think there's much chance. I'm just looking at where his guns were aimed before I started firing. Just going to stop here at the edge of the cap, make sure I get it. Now I can get out of here. Now, on all these Russian destroyers, they are great fire starters. Now, it's easy to say, and it's true. Okay, we're 8 minutes in, you've done 64,000 damage. You're not lighting up the world. No, I'm not. So the question then becomes, did I do enough? What do you think? I invite your honest opinion. I feel like I did. We secured the cap. We lost to Massachusetts. Yes, we did. And we've lost a few ships. And in fact, we just lost the Algerie to the Nelson. So we are now down half of our team. The bad guys are only down 5. And I'm looking at the Huron, which seems to be moving away. Meanwhile, I've got Shiratsuyu and Schultz and Colorado all kind of moving this way. So I'm going to have friends here is what I'm saying. Debating about opening up, and I decide, no, not going to do that. I'm going to try and help to get this cap secured, and I'm just going to move right across in front of the bad guys. Our Lepanto, he can see now that the Brest is moving to the other side of the map, and he's free to cross. Now he's going to be trading fire with Iowa all the way, but I don't really have to, I don't feel like I have to stay there. What do you think? There were already 3 ships that were going to be in this cap. That accelerates the rate at which you secure a cap. Did I even need to be here? Well, I kind of feel like I did, and let me explain why. And your opinions are just as valid, but I'm going to tell you why I feel like it was a good decision to make. All right, so if we look at the mini map, you can see that all the red ships are here with the exception of the Iowa. What do I want to try and do? I want to try and slow their advance. They're down 5 ships, we're down 6. We have 2 caps. We're going to lose this one, almost certainly. That's what I'm looking at right now. That's what I'm thinking. So now the focus to me is to hang on to these. We know there are a certain number of ships here, and we've got 2 more heading that way. So we got these narrow lanes that I can shoot through or send torpedoes through, and if anybody tries to push in, they are constrained by these narrow lanes. They've only got one thing here, which is going to limit the crossfire opportunities, and Lepanto might finish him off. So that's what I was thinking. And Schultz just took a mean shot. And I'm just going to let the AA do some work. Guns seem to be pointed somewhere else. I'm going to accelerate a little bit, try and make use of this smoke here in a second, and see if I can't get a fire started. Unfortunately, I was the eyes. If Nelson continues this way, which I hope he will, and tries to get a little closer to the island, I think my torps are going to be there to meet him. Now I'm going to go ahead, knowing that he's heading that way and being able to see the Huron and getting a good picture because our Hornet is over there. I'm going to race around this side. I'm going to try and get over on the other side of them. And why am I doing that? Well, because that can create some great crossfire opportunities and cross-torp opportunities. Now they know that I'm here. They could see me on the mini-map, right? I was visible there. But they're going to have to contend with me. I've still got 18,000 HP. So maybe I draw aircraft away from my friends. But if I don't, I do land a torpedo there. If I don't, I'm still able to put guns on things, distract them. Now our Schultz looks like he's headed right in behind me, which, I question that, but, I'm doing it, so it's hard for me to criticize. Now we got the Nelson right there. His guns are faced the other way. Can I get a fire started? Now Nelson has a super heel, and he's probably counting on that, so he's nose in. So I'm just going to try and get as many fires started as I can as I run by. Now, arguably, I could have used AP there and maybe done a little bit more damage. But I did what I could. I didn't get blapped, and it's still burning, and I think he's going to go down. And he does. So that's 2 kills, 98,000 damage. Now it's 5 ships apiece. Now what should I do here? What would you do? You can see where our Shiratsuyu's at. Our Schultz is kind of taking himself out of the game with his position, unless he's trying to get torps from his port side back into the Bravo cap, which is possible. That might be what he's doing. But he's not going to have his guns in the game. The Huron is right there, and he's going to meet our Shiratsuyu. What would you do if you were me? And we'll just head on forward. Now, Shiratsuyu does not have very good guns, and Huron has pretty good guns. And what do? I run smack into the North Carolina. 7.2 kilometer detection range. You see, I just go right into the island. I was able to get the torpedoes away, and now I just have to hope that he's going to continue to run that direction in an effort to try and avoid my torpedoes. Shiratsuyu does finish off the Huron with guns. And I couldn't ask for a better outcome here than for North Carolina to turn exactly the way that he did. And that's kill number 3. And at this point, I think it's safe to say the game's pretty much over. Our Colorado still has some HP. Our Lepanto still has some HP. And the bad guys are down to 2 cruisers and their CB. Now the Helen is no joke. I mean, at close range, it can do a lot of damage to DDs, and we've got 2 there that are pretty beat up. Now if I throw torps here, there's every chance I'm going to hit my friends. So I'm just going to wait a second and see which direction he goes. You can see this, the enemy CB is beating up on our Colorado. That's the one I want to finish. I want to finish that one back there. So I'm making use of my friendly's smoke. So what would you do? Helena seems to be pushing right in. We don't have eyes on Helena. Would you stay here? Would you reposition? We just lost the Schultz to the Helena. I was mentioning the guns on that. If it gets close, it can just shred destroyers. Okay, now just show you what I did. My focus is finishing that cruiser right there. And I know that he's already flooded that lane. And unfortunately, I had to wonder whether he was going to become visible or not. He's way out of the way of my torpedoes. So I'm going to make use of this smoke as long as I can. And maybe I switch to AP here. The ship does have good AP. You can see he's angling in. And at 32 degrees, I need to go back to HE. But our Hornet says, no, you don't have to worry about it at all, Ronan. And really, that's the game. We've got 2 caps. They've only got 1. The only thing left is their Hornet. 5 minutes, 34 seconds left in the game. This one's all over but the shouting. So what do you think? Did I push where it was appropriate? Did I sit too long at any point in the game? Be as critical as you like. I'd really like to hear your thoughts. And if you're joining me for the first time, I hope you enjoyed this style of video. I generally do this quite a bit anyway, but I did a series of 3 with the Holland not too long ago, a month and a half ago. And I got some positive feedback about it. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to do it again. So Udaloi is something that I raced through, like a lot of us do, trying to get to tier 10 many years ago when the game was young. And I said, you know, I'm going to go back, and now that I have an idea of how to actually play the ship, I want to see if I can't get my win percentage in the ship to be a little bit better. So that's what I've been focused on. And this was the first of those games. This game is, it's just going to carry on for another couple minutes. So I don't want to keep you. If you want to, fast forward to the end. There's nothing exciting that's going to happen between now and when the game ends. So I will just say thank you very much for joining me. If you haven't already, I'd really appreciate it if you could throw me a like and maybe a subscription. And I'll see you next time.